Is that the super?
Woo-hoo!
Oh,
It's time.
this is a special day. We're back, back in black, and we are ready. We are ready. This is Doug and
Kendall, what's up? Let's do
the
this.
one and only. We are cooking with tofu today. All of your fears are coming true right now. And why are we so happy? It's because we know how to cook with tofu and you need to learn how to.
Oh, that almost rhymed. That was kind of nice.
I'm a poet and I didn't know it. And we're almost there. We're
I feel
almost
like,
there.
did you ever go through a tofu fear phase where like you were so scared of tofu, you thought it would create man boobs or cause you to have estrogen and all these different fears out there that we have around tofu? Did you ever have that?
No, because my introduction to tofu was through healthy community and like reading the China study and things like that. So I knew that as long as you're getting like not GMO weird stuff, that you're when you look at Asian countries where they eat a lot of tofu, the men don't have breasts. So I'm good to go. There's
I
other reasons why I might have man boobs. It's not tofu, I assure you.
Well, tell us, what are we going to do today, Doug? What are you cooking? And then I'll share what I'm going to cook.
Okay, well, I have some really beautiful ingredients prepped and ready to go. Where are they? There they are. Whoop, whoop. I'm making a recipe out of the Dr. McDougall's quick and easy cookbook. It is called creamy spinach pasta.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna that this dish includes gosh, it's really hard to use this thing. I got some tomatoes. Got my tomatoes. I'm actually using silken tofu, which and I'm not using the one I was holding up. So I wanted to try something different because actually silken tofu, I might have a little fear of it because it's a lot more difficult. I don't know, it's just a little scarier because it's like kind of creamy. But when you see what I'm going to do with it, it's pretty awesome. I'm going to add lemon to this dish if you decide to make it. Check out this basil. I just got it off my tower garden.
Ooh.
It is sick. Oh, it smells good. And I got me a bag of spinach. And I also got I'm adding some parsley from the tower garden, bunch of garlic, some vegetable broth, and I've already cooked my pasta. And notice how there's some spinach already in there. What I did was in the last 30 seconds of that pasta cooking, I just threw 2 handfuls of spinach in the water and it just blanches it really quick. And then your spinach is already done and ready to go. It's perfectly cooked. It's not overcooked and like nasty. It's nice and just soft,
Yum.
delicious.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah, I got some cooking to do. What I'm gonna actually start with my food processor while you introduce what you're doing. Okay.
doing it. Okay, so I am going to be making a tofu gnocchi. This is also like brand new for me to be making this recipe, so I'm being very dangerous by trying a recipe that I've never made before. My mom would be so disappointed with me. She always would say, make sure you always cook before you have guests over so that you know that's a good recipe. Make sure you've tried it before. Well, I'm throwing that out the window, and I'm going to make here a tofu gnocchi with sourdough in it that is brand new for me to make today. But it looks really good, and it's very simple, the ingredients. So all I'm going to be using is 3 ingredients to get this started. And I'm going to be using just some plain firm tofu. I buy the 2 pack, and I'm going to put this into my blender right here. I'm actually using a food processor. So I'm just going to take it apart. And if you guys see, even as I'm pulling it apart, it's got a very meaty type texture to it. It's a little crumbly, almost reminds me of feta cheese. There's different types of textures that you can buy. Doug was just talking about that, how you can use silken tofu. I also really enjoy this extra firm tofu. And I might show another recipe at another time where I use this actually for a grated, using a cheese grater with it, and it works perfectly. So what I'm going to use in this recipe is tofu flour. I've got about a cup, and then a little bit of sourdough. I have a half cup. So gnocchi is normally traditionally made with potatoes, but for this recipe, I'm going to make it higher in protein and use tofu instead of potatoes. And then gnocchi is typically done too, where like you make a dough, you roll it out, and then you boil it, and then you can also either pan skillet it. What I'm going to use it for is make an Asian stir fry with it, and I'm going to use it's a really yummy sauce that I made where it's like a sweet mustard sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and blend this up, and then Doug can share what he's doing on his end.
My goodness, I'm just going to say right now, hopefully she can't hear me with the blender on, but she's going to win this food challenge because that is crazy what she's doing. Okay, I want to show you guys what I got going on. I have blended or used a food processor on the basil and the garlic. So it's almost like I'm making a pesto. With a pesto, you would put oil in right here, but you guys know we're trying to reduce our oil or eliminate our oil for health reasons. So to make this a creamy sauce, here's my silken tofu, which is a little weird. It's got a weird texture. I'm not gonna lie. Look, it's like, what is up with that? But the nice thing about silken is that it's just soft. So when I blend this in here, it's gonna just become like a creamy. I think they want me to put some salt in here, maybe a dash. Let's just do a little dash, and I'm trying to keep my salt low too. Let's see what happens when I blend this thing up.
Okay, so I just took my tofu out of the blender, and it is now nice, and it almost feels like Play-Doh. It's very similar to Play-Doh, actually. My food processor has a blending option for dough, and that's what I use. So I didn't really even have to go very long for it to start creating this texture right here. So because this is technically a dough, I'm going to add some flour down on my cutting board. I'm actually probably going to use a bit more.
Hey, Kindle.
Yeah?
I just want to say, I mean, I'm having a hard time even focusing right now because I am really impressed. I'm gonna have to step up my game, man. You are just killing it. I can't believe you're making tofu gnocchi. Anyway, go ahead.
All right.
What the heck?
I know, this is like next level. Tofu gnocchi with sourdough.
I mean, my gosh.
Put me on like one of those cooking food. Did you ever watch those, like the Food Network cooking challenges where they'd like open your box? What is in here?
Oh, I watch it all the time. I currently do on MasterChef. They do it.
I love those too. I'm always fascinated. Yeah. So kind of doing our own thing over here.
Mm-hmm.
So all I'm going to do is just keep rolling this out. I hope I don't add too much water or too much flour to this so it gets crumbly. Have you ever made gnocchi before?
I have not, but I've been thinking about doing it because it's a potato-based pasta. So I figure it's a little bit healthier by its very nature. And I know they're good. I've had them before, but just haven't made them too much.
Yeah, neither have I, but that would be a great dish to make. So Doug and I both follow the same lifestyle, which is a whole food plant-based way of eating. And we both do it to our own different degrees and levels. But for the most part, we really do a lot of the same ways of eating, which is a method where we eat a lot of starches, a lot of vegetables, and a lot of legumes. And then we don't use processed foods, especially processed oils that are used in cooking, just because they add an absurd amount of extra calories to food that are it's unnecessary. And it's how both of us have really changed a big portion of our health. I mean, for you, Doug, you've changed a lot. How have you improved your health with this lifestyle?
Yeah, well, I've been losing weight, and oh my gosh, this is it's good already. Holy cow.
Oh, wow. Is that the sauce that you made?
Yeah, this is like the creamy pesto type of thing, and I'm gonna add vegetable broth.
Oh, I'm
And
excited.
now I'm gonna just heat that over the fire over here.
Nice.
But I've been able to reduce on this lifestyle. I mean, weight loss is great, and we probably should talk a little bit about Kendall's weight loss coaching program that she runs. Because
Yeah.
if you're looking to lose weight, she's a great resource and a coach to teach you how to do that in a healthy way. There's lots of ways to lose weight, but they're not always healthy. If and you got to think about what is your goal. Like if your goal is to lose weight at any expense, I mean, you could just starve yourself or develop an eating disorder, but it's not good, right? So we want to do it in a way that's healthy, that's going to be maintainable long term. And looking forward, I mean, Kindle's like probably like 21 years old or so. Maybe she's a little older. Maybe she's 27. But I'm 56, and I've already had the issue of having some heart disease and having to get stents put in. So eating this way literally reverses heart disease. It reverses diabetes. I've been
Mm.
able to take my cholesterol from 230 down to 120, my blood pressure from almost up to 200 over 100 at some points down to a normal range. So
Wow.
I'm not off of medication yet, but I feel like I still have to educate the doctors a little bit. Once I get my numbers down there low enough, long enough, we're gonna have some real serious conversations. Hey, I got Chase Briner on here. What's up, Chase? I hope you're watching. That guy's a great worship. He's a great worship leader and songwriter. But yeah. So I'm gonna heat. So anyway, I'm heating up my sauce. I put the vegetable broth in, so it's a little more liquidy. I didn't know it was gonna get this liquidy. It makes me a little nervous, but it's okay. We're just gonna heat this up, and I'm gonna add a little lemon juice at the end too to this recipe, just because when I think of pesto, I like the idea of lemon on my pesto. And then also, so the way my dish is gonna finish up is I'm gonna just simply take this garlicky sauce and put it over this pasta that has already spinach in it. And then I'm going to put some cherry tomatoes that are halved right over it. There'll be a lot of nice color. Then I'm going to garnish it with some lemon. If I was serving for people, I would put some lemon slices around the edges to make it look nice. And then I'm gonna go ahead and throw in some fresh parsley over the top that's chopped up real small. So I'm gonna work on some of that detail stuff right now while Kendall updates us on how she's doing.
Okay, guys. So let's start adding the gnocchi to this pot of boiling water. See, I think that's a good angle. So I've got some water going on here, nice and hot. And I've made this gnocchi into these little tiny cute dough balls. So this is all tofu, sourdough, and just some dough in here. And I'm just gonna put these in here and boil these for about 4 minutes. And we shall see what these turn out. And I think you can eat these, I mean, just straight out of here as is, but I'm going to actually roll them in some sauce once they get done and make them into like a yummy Asian dish. I'm now thinking of all the different ways though that I want to
Oh, I
use.
know. That's what I'm thinking right now. Like you could go a lot of different directions. You could put a basil pesto. You could put my sauce I'm making on that and it would be delicious.
Oh wow, wouldn't that be so good?
And you could do like I don't know, it feels this might seem weird, but it feels like you could even do like buffalo style, maybe? Like
I
with a
think so
buffalo
too.
sauce and
I think
something interesting like that. There's a lot of stuff you could do.
I have this actually, this is the sauce that I've made. Sorry, y'all, the lighting is kind of junk over here, but I've got this. This is the sauce that I made for these gnocchi bites, and it's a mustard, sriracha, soy sauce, maple
Woo!
syrup mix right here. So it's a very spicy sauce. Now, actually, while we're waiting for this to
Woo!
boil, oh, they look so cool. They're starting to
It's
turn into
working. Well,
balls.
I
It
mean, this is
is.
the exciting thing. Like you never made this before, so this could be a total disaster.
It really could. It could
Hey,
be a mess. It actually
speaking of
made.
spice, I'm gonna go ahead and pop a little cayenne in this because you know what? Why not?
Why
Why
not?
not?
I've got from my tower garden. I got a bunch of cilantro that I'm gonna use up we're now heading into like the warmer season for Georgia, and our cilantro is like it's at its end. It is time to move on to basil in our tower garden, but
Mm.
I'm able to use, oh, that smells so good, the last of this cilantro. I did yesterday, Doug. It's cool you're making this dish because for Mother's Day, I made a very similar dish to that. I used a bunch of basil, cherry tomatoes that I roasted, and
Mm.
some spinach and peas. Oh my gosh, with pasta.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think, like, okay, out of all the different ways to eat out there, the way that you and I have chosen to eat, like, we get to eat pasta,
Yeah.
sourdough bread, pasta.
Potatoes.
Did I already say that? Because it's that
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Potatoes.
I mean, roast potatoes and air fried potatoes and baked potatoes and mashed potato. I mean, now you're doing potato pasta. It's just amazing. Another thing I was thinking too is like I remember before I got into like eating healthy, like I tried weird. I always did like a fad diet before I realized that a lifestyle change is really the only thing that works.
Yeah.
But in a fad diet, it's like people look on and they think, oh, you're eating a certain way that now it's very limited. You can't eat anything. It's no good. It doesn't taste good. Guys, I'm telling you, you can eat way better on a program like this. Not a program, but just a lifestyle where
Yeah.
everything is so fresh. You know, like I see what everybody else is eating out there in the world. It's rough. You know, this
Right.
is the fresh ingredients. I mean, I'm dealing with multiple types of fresh herbs right now that are raw. And oh, we don't want to boil this. We don't want to boil this. Calm down there, kid.
Didn't
Um,
you? I mean, I tried the craziest diets before this. Like, I was actually writing up a post about that where it's like I tried cabbage soup
oh,
diet. I was always doing some sort of program. I did extreme fasting hours, but then I would like gorge myself on food after I had fasted for a certain amount of time. Oh, these gnocchis are turning out so cool. Oh, they're
really?
so cute. They're so freaking cute. They're like
Wait,
little
I kind of
tiny.
missed. What are you cooking them in right now? Oh, that looks
Oh,
good.
great question. It is just in water, no salt in there, just water. And I believe these are truly ready to add to my pan for cooking over here. So
I
I'm
got to
gonna.
try this. This is incredible.
I hope
And
this is.
you're gonna give us an honest assessment of whether it tastes good.
I truly will, because I like to be able to put out recipes that I would eat. I don't want to share a recipe
Yeah.
with somebody and be like, oh, this is great. I mean, that's why I love everything that I eat thus far. Like, there's only been a handful of times with like this way of eating that I found things that I really don't like. But even with tofu, like, there's so many ways to eat these are so cool. There's so many different ways to eat tofu that's added a lot of variety to my diet that just don't miss stuff like I used to. Like, I thought
Yeah.
I would miss cheese. I thought I would miss meat. I went through a very uncomfortable stage for a while where I was missing it. But once I started adding in all these other amazing foods,
Yeah.
I was okay without it. Weren't you?
Yeah, I know another thing that just reminded me of is because I didn't have this experience before. Now there's you kind of settle in and figure out how to live this way and I have found this farmers market, an indoor, like it's like a grocery store, but it's called Freshfield Farms here in Jacksonville. And it's
Okay.
got the most amazing produce. It's just unbelievable. So you go in there and it's like a kid in a candy shop. And you find these ingredients like, oh, what is this? Oh man, look at these Brussels sprouts. Let me get a pack of these. Let me get some of this. Let me get some of that. And then you combine that with like what you have growing in your tower garden or however you grow food, which I would highly recommend. Maybe we'll cover that in future episodes. But
Yeah,
I don't know, it's just exciting. I just find it exciting.
it is. I
Speaking of
love growing
exciting,
my own food. That's so cool. Go ahead.
okay, I got a little hack to show everybody here. So I actually added too
Ooh.
much. I added too much vegetable broth. I realized it was supposed to be 2/3 cup, and I added a whole cup, so it was too thick. So we just talked about this beforehand. I quickly grabbed my guar gum powder and
Ooh,
I just
yeah.
put like a pinch or two in there. And this is just like some kind of a plant or something, but it's from guar beans. But it's a thickening agent. You'll see that on packages sometimes, and now it's just perfectly good. You don't want to use too much of this because it'll turn into jello pretty much. But so now here we go. We have my moment of pouring my sauce over my pasta.
Oh, I gotta
Oh
watch.
yeah.
Whoa, that
And
looks
this
so good.
and as Emerald would say on his TV show, oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah, baby. Oh
Nice.
yeah. That looks good. And then now I'm just gonna combine this all together. And where'd my tongs go? Where are my tongs? There they are. And then I'm gonna put some cherry tomatoes over. Oh yeah.
Oh man, I should have thought ahead and done a cool plating like you. I just am gonna pop these out of here and taste them. But I love that you're having like a
Well,
cool plate session.
you know, I'll say that I think that's an important part of all this too. Like, and now I have been watching MasterChef a lot and really thinking about, I'm putting some lemon juice on now. Thinking about plating and like even just knowing that you're gonna have this happening, but then you have like the red tomatoes to give you a contrast in color. Like that was a cool looking dish, but now look at it now. You know, now it's gonna have all those tomatoes mixed in there, and it's gonna give like a nice look, and it's real creamy.
Yeah.
Now, in order to make a creamy pasta like this, you have to do things that are really bad for your body, like putting heavy cream in there. Which, listen, I'm a human. I think Kindle can admit it too. I have fond memories of heavy cream. I can make an Alfredo that will make you slap your mama.
Woo.
But now I know how to make a vegan Alfredo. But it's just not worth it. It's like I don't know if you guys have ever done this. Like I don't know. I've never been diagnosed with an eating disorder or something, Kindle, but I know you've had some struggles with
Oh yeah.
different food things. But
Yeah.
you know how it is, like when you're ready to go on a diet or something, or it's like, oh, I'm just gonna have one more hamburger. I'm gonna do one more cheese pizza. You know, but it's never enough. It's never gonna
Right.
be enough. So mine is complete. It's colorful. It's got a lot
That's
going on.
cool. Oh, I love it. Oh, you're gonna do a taste test for us too?
All right,
Oh,
here's the live taste test. Well, I gotta make sure it's seasoned.
okay. Here, while you're doing that, I'm gonna show everyone. I'm gonna garnish mine. It's not a complete meal, but I think this would go perfectly well. Here's little gnocchis. They are so cute looking.
Oh,
I don't know why, but they're so cute. So I'm gonna cover these in just a little bit of roasted sesame seeds.
oh yeah.
I these with like they don't have any oil on them. They're just the actual sesame seed to add that flavor. They look like little tiny chicken nugget bites that you would have in like a general Tso or like an Asian dish. And then I'm just
Hmm.
going to put some cilantro on top of this dish because I think that will be the added final finish flavor. I'm truly curious to see if the texture of these, what that's going to all be about. Like if it's going to have a meaty texture to it.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Well, I think it will because the tofu is going to be a little more meaty than potato would be. So,
Sure
oh, I
thing.
can't wait to have you taste this. That looks great. You plated well.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I think this would go great. Like I'll for dinner do this with rice. And then I have a bunch of squash and zucchini from my garden. And that will just be a simple, easy dish to put together. Okay. You ready for a taste test?
Yeah, you go ahead first.
All right. I will say that went, you know how like when you push something through a piece of food and it has the right texture to
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
That already is like a good sign to me. Okay. Mmm.
Really?
I'm hands down in love with this. I'm gonna take another bite. That's so good. Wow, it's very chewy, but it's light. I think because of it being boiled, it fluffs it up. Dude, Doug, you have to make this. This is so good.
What do you mean? I have all this sourdough sitting right here on the counter. I don't know what to do with all this stuff. This mother. So you literally made it out of sourdough discard.
I used discard flour and then tofu. And
So that gave you like a little bit of a sour taste in there.
mm-hmm.
But
Oh,
the
and
tofu gives
mm,
you a texture. And what is the sauce again?
this sauce is kick butt. It's so good. Mustard, sriracha,
Mustard.
and just a little bit of maple.
Maple?
Yep.
Wow.
Oh,
I'm impressed.
I
And
did.
then you know what I think is a great move when you put that cilantro on there? I could almost maybe think a little lime juice could go on there too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Without tasting it, I don't know. I'm gonna go for a taste test on mine, and we'll see how she does. Oh yeah, it's giving me just what the recipe says. It's going to be a creamy pasta with lots of garlic flavor. I mean,
Ooh,
they
yum.
asked for 1.5 teaspoons of fresh minced garlic. I put 3 cloves. So, you know, when in doubt, just double your garlic in every recipe.
Always. So, tell me a little bit about that creamy sauce because I think back to what you're saying about people wanting to have that dairy, creamy, cheesy flavor, creamy texture. How's
Mm.
it comparing? Like, if I was going to eat that, would I be tricked, or would I need to know that it is a tofu replacement?
No, it's not quite creamy enough to be tricked. I feel like I definitely can't taste any like soybean type flavors or anything in it. It just makes the texture a little creamier,
Mm-hmm.
which maybe even it would be even creamier if I use less vegetable broth. But here's another hack. As you can see, I like to experiment when I cook. And if you're not comfortable cooking yet, just start doing it. You're going to get there. But nutritional yeast. So if something's trying to be creamy or cheesy, this is your healthy version of what to do. And I would be quite liberal with this. I'm
Yum.
going to go for it. And now you got to be careful. I think more so in healthy cooking. Like if you just smell your individual ingredient, it's like, I don't really want to eat that straight up. It's not going to be like, oh, there's mozzarella. Let me eat a bunch. But when you mix it in with everything, there's
Mm-hmm.
kind of this yin yang that seems to happen in healthy cooking. I can already see it on there. I think it's going to be even better. Oh, absolutely. It kind of changed everything. I'm gonna hit it again. Do we know what your nutritional yeast is?
Tell us. What
I
is it?
don't.
Asked all the time.
Dried yeast. Hmm. Interesting. No fat, 3 carbs, 5 grams of protein in
Mm,
2 tablespoons. That's a lot.
that actually is a
Now,
lot. It does have B vitamins in it too, doesn't it?
yeah, yeah. Well, it's good.
I know that looks really good. You know what's
I
kind of
actually don't love the I don't love the raw parsley that I put on there.
mm,
So
like too much of it, too much flavor.
yeah, maybe I just gotta mix it because it put it over the top. So if I get it, this actually is not my serving bowl. I'm not gonna eat all this.
Oh,
I
let
just
me
mixed the whole.
hey, Luke, take a bite of this on camera and see what you think of these. So that's made with tofu. So it's tofu gnocchi. We'll veggies later.
Yeah, make it again.
Isn't that good?
It's really good.
It's a keeper.
Yeah. Doing it.
Nice.
Who came up with that one?
The internet.
Yeah.
So, but I've been wanting to try this for a while. So
That's good. I like it.
isn't that so good? Yeah. All right, Doug. Our house has little humans and a big human.
I was gonna say you must have guests over because you don't have none of those humans yet.
I know, right? We got our friends over here. So, all right, I'm gonna
All
jump
right.
off and feed people.
Thanks everybody for joining us. We'll come back at you in 2 weeks with some more exciting action. Bye, Kendall. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.